Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one, the only beloved Zbec network. Okay. Listen, price has continued to soar to the upside. In the last couple of days, we pretty much have gone up, I don't know, 70% at this point, 60%. 60% in just a matter of 5 days. And you have to remember that two of these days were actually on the weekend, right? So you usually never see insane traction on the weekend. I mean, the Saturday pumped. Saturday is usually the least likely day for anything to happen. I've seen times where Bitcoin moves between a range of $300 on the Saturday. Like it doesn't move. Okay, it doesn't move. And we can see huge upside on the Saturday. Then on the Sunday, we were retesting, and today we broke out to the upside, right? Sunday was a day of retesting over here. Now, we talked about two possibilities, right? We talked about two possibilities with Zebec Network. One is either we break out of this consolidation zone and we kind of go retest first to the downside to then go further up, boom, like this, or that we kind of chill, be sideways here for some time and then break out, right? Either way, we were still expecting more upside momentum, generally speaking. Generally speaking, I overall expect some more upside momentum, right? When we go to something like the monthly right now, we are kind of in a weird situation where, in general, the monthly was a big sell off candle. So I don't think necessarily we're going to flip above the 0.0038 this month just yet. I don't think so, right? I generally do think that there's still going to be lots and lots of pumps coming our way. And I do think there's going to be a lot of momentum coming our way. But with just the way the structure is and just the way Bitcoin has been moving, it does make me think a little bit that it is going to be a little bit hard. It's going to be hard. It's not impossible, but it's going to be hard. We will be monitoring a few things because when we go and do something like this, we can actually see that we do have this nice trend line over here, right? Boom, we have three main points touching. Also, when we go and look at our zones, right? These are all of our minor swing zones. We have one over here. We have a lower high over here. And then we have another lower high over here, right? Consistent lower highs on the daily. Now, here's the thing, right? If we do end up just kind of chilling around this area, let's say we close out the 3-3 all the way up to even, let's just say the 3-6, and we do create another lower high, then this is going to indicate that we are most likely going to start selling off once again. Now, someone said in the comments that, I don't sound like the most bullish right now. Do I have less faith in this project? No, what changed? And it's not that I don't have faith or anything. It's just that I go by technical analysis, right? Yes, I love news, but I've said this multiple times that I value news a small amount. I value technical analysis 99% of the time. That's why even when we were somewhere up here, for a time I was talking about this zone getting swept, right? Because we had multiple lows down here. And I was talking about how this swing zone was going to get swept too, right? And there was a reason why I said this, right? It doesn't matter. And we had positive news with Kraken somewhere around up here, and we can see, right? Just general sell-offs because good news doesn't automatically mean good pump. Good news equals how much are we going to pump in the future? Yes, sometimes depending on the context of the news, we could see short-term pumps. We could see even big pumps depending on the news, right? On the 21st, we swept a massive zone. Not only that, but on the 22nd, we got very good news regarding Zebec. And what happened? Well, we can see with a combination of great news and technical analysis doing its thing that we expected, we saw a pump of 60% in the last 5 days. Okay. Listen, I'm never going to be telling people, we're going to be hitting 10 cents, next month. We're going to be coming to all time highs. Guys, we're going to be going to all time highs, this month and everything. When I know that the probability of that is almost zero to none, like literally, or that's, I guess that's the same thing, but you know what I mean? Like that, if there's a low probability of that happening, I'm not going to be telling you that because I don't want to mess with your emotions, right? The reason why I do these videos daily is so you guys can get a good understanding, right? Of course, you can't treat my word like it's God. You have to still do your own research and still rely on yourself. But if you've been watching this channel for some time, you know I'm fairly consistent. I don't know literally my consistency rate, but I would say it's up there. Like it is up there consistently. Okay, we have been expecting certain things to happen, and they've been playing out. The only thing I can genuinely remember in recent times where I was wrong about something was when I thought this was going to be the reversal upwards of 474849, and it was short lived, right? But even still, that wasn't a big massive mistake. After that, when we saw something like this play out, we talked about how there's expected sells. Boom, we got that down. When there was expected sells and there was a pullback to retest, we said, hey, we're retesting, but it doesn't really mean anything. And it's most likely going to be going lower if we actually close the way we did close, right? The way we did close. And then guess what? I said, okay, guys, we closed this way, expect lower, right? We went lower, we swept a certain zone. Now we see reversals. So, we have been fairly on point. But generally speaking, I'm not here to sell you a false dream. I'm not going to tell you Zebec is going to go to $5 next year. Even a dollar is very, very highly optimistic. But we've seen it with XLM before, right? We've seen it with something like XLM, where XLM, ranks 16 in the world. It's currently at 8.26 billion market cap. But we've seen it, right? When this thing was all the way down here. This was at a 13 million market cap zone. Then it went to a couple hundred million, right? And then it shot up all the way to 11 billion. But the point is, the multiplier was insane. This went up hundreds of multipliers, right? And even if right now we use a similar, let's just say market cap, which we're at right now, like roughly 300 million, right? This thing still went up an insane amount, right? This thing is at 300 million market cap, went to 11 billion plus. That means that's what, like almost a 40x. So, we've been talking about Zebec hitting the 10 billion market cap zone, which would be phenomenal, which I do expect to happen. I feel like that is the expected price point, to be honest. Is it guaranteed? No, I'm not a market maker. I'm just a person that looks at charts, and I would say I'm pretty good at them, right? I'm pretty good at them. Not to like toot my own horn, but I'm just saying, right? Listen, when we go and look at something like the weekly, the positive news is that we do have a nice swing low, and then we have a higher swing low here. So bullish. That is very, very, very bullish. Now, I will say, right, there is a nice big weekly wick in here. So there's going to be most likely, like I said, an opportunity to be pulling back at one point. Whether it's going to be now or, us retesting a little bit higher, I do ultimately believe that we will come back to the 2.7 to try to reattempt to come back to the swing highs. I do believe we will come back and contest these swing highs over here, right? And then again, we're going to be monitoring how the weekly candle closes when we get to this swing high. If we get up here and we close below this, we have this high here and we close here, then I'm going to tell you, hey guys, I expect price to go lower. Not because I don't like Zbec, it's because it's what the charts are saying. But yeah, look, man, ultimately, Zebec is in a great position one way or another. It's not really Zebec that we're looking at right now, mainly. It is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very, very annoying. Bitcoin is very, very dreadful. This price action, right? We have gone above, certain zones right now. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this price action is very, very weak. Generally speaking, this price action over here is very, very weak. So, Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes down again, 5, 7, 10, $12,000, Zbec can only do so much. Yes, of course, there's an anomaly pump sometimes, like the way Zcash went up an insane amount. But you have to remember that, Zcash was also going sideways for many, many months. So, it takes time to get these big types of pumps, people. It takes time. But that's why Zbec Network is preparing for the ultimate big pump over the next few short months. Because look, we went sideways here for a couple of months, right? Remember, boom. And then we had a huge surge. And then I would not be surprised once again if we generally, over the next, let's just say 6, 8, 12 weeks, kind of go sideways and then explode once we start getting momentum for altcoin season in 2026, right? I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out, but, you know, things usually happen the same kind of way. That's all I can say. Is just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Overall, though, ladies and gentlemen, right, generally speaking, right now is a fantastic time to be looking to be buying, in my personal opinion, if you do believe in Zbec, and not only believe, but if you think, you know, Zbec's going to hit certain price points, Not only that, but also if you're going to be patient, because if you want an overnight flip, you know, maybe wait for slightly lower prices. If you're looking to hold for at least a couple months, objectively speaking, right, we are just slightly out of the 0.78. So we are 75% discount from these recent highs. All right, if we actually take it to, I would say, these relevant bottoms here, boom, we actually are, uh, it's technically worse. We are a little bit less discounted, right? We're probably like 63, 64% discounted. But listen, man, a discounts at discounts. There's a reason why institutions were even buying up here because they see the future of Zebec and they know there's a very high probability that they're going to make a lot of money this cycle. But yeah, that is ultimately it, though, ladies and gentlemen. Love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.